Owning a home is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. And when something breaks, it can feel like the whole day unravels. That's why HomeServe exists. For as little as $4.99 a month, you'll always have someone to call. A trusted professional ready to help, bringing peace of mind to 4.5 million homeowners nationwide. For plans starting at just $4.99 a month, go to homeserve.com. That's homeserve.com. Not available everywhere. Most plans range between $4.99 to $11.99 a month your first year. Terms apply on covered repairs.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Welcome to AI World TV, your go-to destination for everything artificial intelligence. Discover the captivating landscape of AI, where advanced technology finds real-life application. Subscribe to AI World TV for webzine articles, reports, podcasts, videos, live events, and latest trends. Hear from top industry leaders and discover how AI is transforming industries and our daily lives.
Normally, education evolves, kind of like a glacier. It's slow, it's highly predictable, and you can see the changes coming miles away.
Yeah, very slow. You've got plenty time to prepare.
Right, like you swap out a chalkboard for a whiteboard, maybe eventually a smart board, or you replace those heavy physical textbooks with digital PDFs.
Right, but the fundamental geometry of the classroom, the teacher at the front dispensing facts, and the students taking notes that has stayed largely untouched for centuries. We've basically just been upgrading the furniture while, leaving the architecture of the building completely intact.
Exactly. But right now, in April 2026, the floor is literally giving out. The walls are moving.
They're a total rebuild.
It really is. We are looking at massive signals that the entire architecture of human inquiry is being rebuilt from the foundation up. And for a listener like you, someone who needs to understand the mechanics of massive industry shifts without getting buried in, all that Silicon Valley hype, we are unpacking something crucial today.
Yeah, we're doing a deep dive into this pivotal April 17th piece from the AI World Journal.
And it outlines why artificial intelligence in education is the single most important structural shift of this decade. It has officially graduated from being just a computer science elective to becoming the foundational infrastructure of how we learn.
And we can see the physical proof of that shift simply by following the capital, right? This isn't just some theoretical musing.
Oh, not at all.
We are looking at a recent $50 million gift to the University of Chicago from philanthropists Rika and Joe Mansueto. And that's just the anchor of a nearly $200 million initiative.
200 million?
Yeah, almost 200 million. When you look at where that capital is being deployed, it really tells you everything you need to know about the current moment.
Because $200 million is not, let's try out a new software pilot program money. That is, the paradigm has fundamentally shifted money. And what fascinates me is that they aren't spending this fortune on buying better servers or upgrading campus Wi-Fi. The stated goal is to recruit interdisciplinary faculty.
Right, they are buying human capital.
Yeah, scholars who can integrate AI into medicine, into economics, the humanities, and the arts.
And that human capital is necessary because we are undergoing this profound epistemological shift. I mean, we are changing the fundamental rules of what knowing something actually means.
Okay, let's unpack this because epistemological shift sounds pretty heavy.
It does sound a bit academic, yeah.
So if I'm a student or a researcher right now, what does moving from retrieval to synthesis actually look like in practice?
Well, think about a historian. Under the old retrieval model, a historian might spend years manually reading hundreds of 18th century diaries just to formulate a single hypothesis about daily life.
Years of just reading and taking notes.
Right. But the new synthesis model uses computational analysis to ingest millennia of historical texts in seconds.
Wow, seconds.
Yeah. Instead of just reading, the AI maps the semantic relationships across all those texts simultaneously. It finds a hidden statistical connection between a drop in grain prices and a subtle shift in peasant vocabulary.
Something no human could have possibly spotted by eye.
Exactly. The AI generates the hypothesis, and then the human historian validates and contextualizes it.
So the technology is doing the heavy lifting of pattern recognition across data sets that are just way too vast for the human mind.
Precisely. And the same thing is happening in the hard sciences, too.
Right, like a bioengineer isn't just testing one compound at a time anymore. They're utilizing AI to analyze billions of genomic data points instantly to predict how a protein will fold.
And on an individual level, for the student sitting in a dorm room, this means the end of the one-size-fits-all lecture.
Thank goodness for that.
Right. We're talking about personalized 24/7 Socratic tutors that adapt in real time to your unique cognitive pace.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, that incredible capability leads directly to a massive institutional crisis, doesn't it?
It really does. If the foundational rebuild is so powerful, it begs the question of why there is so much panic in the broader academic world right now.
Well, the panic comes down to sheer speed. It's the velocity problem. Let's compare this to the internet, right?
Good comparison.
When the internet emerged, it was a massive technological leap, but universities had like a decade to build out the infrastructure. There was a whole era of computer lab classes where we slowly learned how to use search engines.
Right. Institutions had time to actually write curricula and figure it out.
Exactly. But the rollout of generative AI and large language models, that did not take a decade. It took weeks.
Just weeks. It went from a niche novelty to a globally accessible supercomputer almost overnight.
And that unprecedented speed has created this dangerous velocity gap between what the technology can do on a Tuesday and what a university's governance committee can approve by the end of this semester.
And that velocity gap is fracturing the academic world into three very dangerous divides right now.
Let's break those down.
Sure. So think about a typical university department today. First, you have an awkward reversal of the traditional expertise dynamic. You have students using complex data models to write papers, but the faculty who are, overwhelmed and lack institutional support, they don't understand the tools.
So the student actually knows more about the medium of learning than the professor.
Exactly.
Right.
Which feeds directly into the second fracture, which is the workforce readiness gap.
Right.
While that professor might want to ban the tool in their classroom, corporate recruiters are standing at the edge of campus demanding AI fluency.
The corporate landscape requires these skills today.
Yeah. If a university fails to teach students how to use these tools rigorously, they are graduating a cohort that is entirely unprepared for the modern economy.
And then you hit the third fracture, right? The research competitiveness gap. While one university's lab is manually crunching numbers for a study, a rival lab equipped with advanced AI data modeling publishes the findings first.
If you aren't synthesizing with AI, you are losing the grant money. It's that simple.
But I have to push back here a little bit because the article characterizes academic hesitation as a guaranteed strategy for failure. And that feels a little harsh to me.
You think so?
I mean, academia is built on rigorous peer review, right? It's built on double-checking your work and avoiding the latest tech fads. Moving slowly and deliberately is basically in their DNA. Is it really fair to penalize universities for wanting to pause and evaluate?
Well, the desire to preserve rigor is vital, and blindly rushing in is definitely dangerous. However, treating AI as a passing fad that can just be waited out, that is a fatal miscalculation right now.
Why fatal, though?
Because the velocity gap isn't just a theoretical debate for a faculty lounge. It is materializing in the real world as we speak. If an institution waits 5 years to see how the dust settles, their researchers have already lost their funding to faster labs.
And their graduates have already been passed over for jobs.
Exactly. The window for proactive leadership is open right now, but the economic realities of the world will not wait for a university committee to catch up.
So what does this all mean for the teachers? If the AI is this highly capable 24/7 Socratic tutor that adapts perfectly to my cognitive pace, I look at that and think the traditional human teacher is obsolete.
It's a common fear for sure.
Yeah, I mean, why do I need a human at the front of the room if an algorithm can synthesize the exact lesson I need, exactly when I need it? Does the human educator actually survive this shift?
The human educator doesn't just survive. The human element becomes exponentially more vital than it has ever been, but only if the role evolves.
How so?
Well, the source explicitly points out that AI is phenomenal at automating the mechanical rote elements of knowledge transfer. It is a brilliant mechanism for delivering facts.
Okay, but what can it do?
What it cannot do is contextualize those facts within the messy reality of the human experience. It cannot empathize with a student who is struggling with imposter syndrome. It cannot inspire a sudden, lifelong passion for a difficult subject.
It's the difference between being a human flashcard and being an architect. or an orchestrator.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, if a teacher's only value was standing at the podium, broadcasting facts in a one-way street, yes, the algorithm is a much better, much faster flashcard.
You are listening to the AI World Podcast, your trusted source for the latest innovations, insights, and trends in artificial intelligence, blockchain, fintech, and decentralized technologies. Each episode features expert interviews, engaging discussions, and in-depth analysis of how AI transforms industries worldwide. Stay ahead of the curve with the latest articles and exclusive reports from the AI World Journal, covering everything from emerging technologies to industry breakthroughs. For more news, global events, and access to AI World Society circle gatherings, visit us at aiworld.tv. Don't forget to subscribe to stay informed, stay connected, and be part of the AI revolution with AI World Lounge. Thank you for listening.
But by offloading that rote memorization to the machine, the educator is freed up. They have to step up to the podium and become an orchestrator.
They are no longer playing all the instruments, they're ensuring the harmony.
Exactly. They get to focus on higher order pedagogy, teaching critical thinking, guiding ethical reasoning, and providing high-level mentorship.
And if educators remain passive and refuse to step into that orchestrator role, the adoption of AI in schools will be dictated entirely by Silicon Valley product cycles.
Which means software engineers would basically become the de facto deans of our educational system.
And that is exactly why the University of Chicago's aggressive recruitment of interdisciplinary scholars is so urgent. The future of AI in education depends entirely on human leadership overriding algorithmic efficiency when moral nuance requires it.
Humans have to teach students how to interrogate a machine's output rather than just blindly accepting it.
Right. Which perfectly frames the challenge of literacy.
Yes, let's talk about literacy. Because if an educator's new job is to be an orchestrator of AI, and a student's job is to master it for the workforce, that completely fails if they don't actually know how the instruments work.
True AI literacy is far more complex than just knowing how to type a clever prompt into a chat box.
So what are the actual pillars of this literacy? The article breaks it down into 4 dimensions, right?
Yeah, true literacy requires mastering 4 distinct pillars. The first is functional literacy. This is the baseline.
Just the mechanics of it.
Right. It's the mechanical ability to use AI tools to enhance your productivity, knowing how to prompt an AI to outline a research paper or summarize a data set. It's turning on the engine.
But using the tool is only the beginning. The danger really happens a step later.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's say that student uses the AI to outline their historical research, but the AI hallucinates it, completely fabricates a historical event because of a flaw in its training data.
Which happens all the time.
Yeah. If the student lacks the second pillar, critical literacy, their functional skill actually becomes a massive liability.
Because they just believe whatever the machine spits out.
Exactly. Critical literacy is understanding how the systems work under the hood so you can spot algorithmic bias and recognize when the machine is confidently lying to you.
Without critical literacy, you are just a parrot repeating the machine's hallucinations. And then, we must layer on ethical literacy.
The third pillar.
Yes. This is the ability to navigate the profound systemic implications of the technology. Like, who owns the intellectual property that the AI was trained on?
Right, and how is user data being anonymized or exploited?
Exactly. Or what happens to the broader workforce when specific cognitive tasks are fully automated. It's the big picture ethics.
And then there's the fourth pillar, which is discernment literacy. And honestly, for you listening right now, this is probably the hardest one to master in your daily life.
What's fascinating here is how the article defines discernment.
Yeah, discernment literacy is the discipline of knowing exactly when not to use AI. Think about your own inbox this morning, or a creative project you're struggling with.
It's so tempting to just let the machine do it.
Exactly. When you have a literal supercomputer sitting at your fingertips, the temptation is to let it draft every email, brainstorm every idea, and solve every single problem.
It's the path of least resistance.
Right. Valuing your own human intuition and lived experience over the sheer convenience of a machine choosing to sit with the friction of a difficult task that requires immense discipline.
And mastering those 4 pillars, functional, critical, ethical, and discernment, is not just an academic exercise. The stakes could not be higher.
It determines your future, really.
Yeah, this multidimensional literacy will literally define who gets to participate fully in the future economy and who gets pushed to the margins. We are witnessing the creation of a massive new digital divide.
It won't be based on who has access to the internet anymore.
No, it will be based on who has the literacy to direct artificial intelligence and who is merely directed by it.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. Because AI requires this incredibly broad, multidimensional literacy, it can no longer be locked away in the computer science department.
It's way too big for just one department.
Yeah, AI is becoming the great bridge between all disciplines. It's acting as a universal translator.
That's a great way to put it.
If the mathematics department and the humanities department are like tourists who only speak their native departmental languages, AI is the translator, allowing them to finally trade ideas in a global market.
And we are seeing unprecedented interdisciplinary convergence because of that translation layer.
Yeah.
Consider the OpenAI model called GPT-Rosalind that was mentioned in the related biotech research.
Oh, right, the biotech model.
Yeah, it is a large language model, but instead of processing English or Spanish, it processes the language of biology.
That is wild.
It parses genomic sequences and protein structures to accelerate drug discovery. We are seeing clinical practice seamlessly merge with data science to predict patient outcomes.
And it's happening everywhere, not just in medicine. Economics is integrating with machine learning to model incredibly complex, real-time global markets.
And we talk about the humanities leveraging computational analysis to map the thematic evolution of literature across centuries of text.
Right. The University of the Future simply cannot operate in isolated silos anymore. The walls have to come down.
But the flip side of that convergence is the staggering cost of doing nothing. Failing to prioritize this integration does not preserve the sanctity of traditional education.
It actually does the opposite, right?
Yeah. A warning to institutional leaders, extreme caution leads directly to declining student enrollment, a massive reduction in research funding, and a loss of institutional prestige.
It effectively stars the institution.
Yeah.
You end up creating a dangerous two-tiered educational system.
Exactly.
You will have the well-resourced universities that can afford to invest in massive AI integration, and then you'll have the under-resourced schools that are just left behind entirely. It just exacerbates every existing educational inequality we have.
So to avoid that starvation, institutional leaders, the boards of trustees, deans, department chairs, they have to make 3 critical moves right now.
What's the first move?
First, they must completely overhaul academic policies. They need to abandon flawed, punitive AI detection software. It just doesn't work well enough.
Right, ditch the detectors.
Yeah, and instead focus on integrating AI natively into how students are assessed.
Okay, it's second.
Second, they have to invest heavily in human capital. Following the UChicago model we talked about, they need to fund faculty training, offer sabbaticals specifically for AI research, and aggressively hire interdisciplinary scholars.
And the third move?
Third, they must build robust, secure infrastructure. Porting students toward public web browsers is not a strategy.
Definitely not secure.
Right. Universities must provide secure, private, enterprise-grade AI environments where researchers can actually experiment with sensitive data without risking privacy breaches.
It's a massive undertaking.
It is. But AI isn't just changing education. It is redefining what it means to be educated. The question isn't if this transformation will happen. The only question is who will lead it.
We have covered incredible ground today. We started with the massive $200 million financial signals that prove we are undergoing a foundational epistemological shift.
Right, moving away from retrieving static facts toward synthesizing vast new knowledge.
And we navigated the terrifying velocity problem where technology advances in weeks while institutions move in decades.
A very dangerous gap.
We explored how the human educator is stepping away from being a flashcard to become an irreplaceable orchestrator. And we unpacked why mastering functional, critical, ethical, and discernment literacy is your personal defense against a catastrophic new digital divide.
Which is so crucial.
Absolutely. For you listening right now, understanding these structural changes is the absolute key to your own career adaptability.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final thought that builds on this entire journey.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've talked extensively about the monumental shift from information retrieval to AI-assisted synthesis. But this raises an important question to ponder.
Which is?
If our educational systems, our workplaces, and our daily lives become entirely focused on synthesizing high-level concepts with the help of a machine, what happens to the human brain's raw capacity for deep, unassisted focus over the next decade?
Wow. Yeah, if we outsource the rote memory and the friction of the research process to an algorithm, do we also lose the beautiful serendipity of connecting seemingly random facts in our own minds?
Exactly. It's something we really need to think about.
That is a profound tension to carry forward. If the classroom is a building and AI has completely re-engineered the walls and poured a new foundation, we still have the power to decide what kind of minds we want to cultivate inside of it.
We do.
Keep questioning the tools you use, keep exploring the friction in your own work, and remember that your own human intuition is still the most advanced tool in the room. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
The future of artificial intelligence is unfolding, and it's happening at AI World Week, the flagship global event for innovation, collaboration, and transformation. This flagship global AI event is designed to connect visionary leaders, trailblazing entrepreneurs, and influential thinkers to explore the endless possibilities of AI. Experience groundbreaking technology that redefines industries and inspires progress. Join thought-provoking discussions on ethical AI, digital equity, and the transformative role of technology in our world. Build meaningful connections that catalyze innovation and drive impact. AI World Week is powered by AI World Society, a global movement dedicated to advancing AI responsibly and ensuring it serves humanity. Together, we're shaping a smarter, more inclusive, and equitable future. Continue your journey beyond the event with the AI World Journal, offering expert insights, in-depth analysis, and the latest trends shaping the AI landscape. This is your opportunity to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world with AI. AI World Week. We invite you to join us and embrace the AI revolution.